Texting 857-6309. How are you? Welcome back, America, to the mid-sack on a... What is he doing?
Forward.
To the mid-sack on a Wet My Whistle Wednesday. The redoubtable himself, Tom Izzo, the high question one, RJ Miliaccio. Segment 1, all things throwing in the towel, brought to you by the 2023 New York Mets, boys and girls. How to deflate your team in a matter of hours. Textbook.
Punting 101.
Textbook. Third down? Why wait till fourth? Let's punt it now. Unbelievable.
God
anyway,
damn it, let's kneel on second.
Good Lord. Talk about the whole, where is the white flag? Unbelievable. No mas. Roberto Duran fans out there. No mas. My God.
And as much as I knew it was coming, I was still blindsided.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my man the floor. He called it, for the record. He called it. We were debating when or if to pull this trigger. I thought, okay, if they don't go 6 out of 9, they didn't even wait for that shit to happen.
They couldn't.
They didn't fucking wait. And they pulled the trigger again. The two aces gone. The clothes are gone. Just like that. Your old Mother Hubbard and not even an old shriveled up Rick Vaughn is in the cupboard. This is over, baby. O-V-E-A-H. Over.
You struggled with that spelling.
Over.
You didn't know how to spell over, and you just winged it.
I blame the little Jamaican voodoo master.
Jobu.
I blame Jobu for everything. And I mean that affectionately because I love the man. But anyway, segment 1. Welcome back to IDD. For those who know, I don't disagree. I don't think we want to disagree tonight. I think it's just a question of, the ball is on the tee, and how far does the redoubtable one want to hit it? That's the question. Which, trust me, no matter how far he hits it, it'll still be farther than the Mets lineup, which is grossly underachieved all season. But that's just part of the blame pie. So I'm going to give one of my best friends because honestly, he needs this. He needs to let it out. And I don't know how many F-bombs he's going to drop, but there is an over-under, boys and girls.
What is it?
It's 8 in this segment.
That's good.
That's
segment.
Good. 8
It's
is the
going to be
over-under.
more. I'll make sure it's
more.
more.
I didn't say I was going under.
I'll make sure it's more, okay? You can put your money on it. You can take your suspension. You hear about these college kids getting fucking...
Yeah, I did.
Why are they going to jail?
I don't know.
Is it that big a deal?
I guess. We'll talk about that later on. Right now, it is about the dumpster fire in Flushing Meadows. Let's not change the subject because, listen, there's two things going on right now. It's the demise of a $380 million payroll in training camps. So we're going to start with the $380 million payroll because he is knee-deep in blood and guts and everything else. A myriad, a tapestry of emotions. A plethora of emotions over the past 36 hours.
I like tapestry.
From idea, a tapestry. Well, you're going to weave it. You're going to paint a tapestry right here.
It's the never-ending fucking roller coaster that is the Mets.
Yeah.
And it goes hope, embarrassment, despair, hope, embarrassment, despair. That's the fucking roller coaster.
Is there hope right now?
No, we're in despair right now.
Okay.
Actually, no. I've almost swung back to hope. Allow me.
Please. I would love to hear this.
Okay. So, I will say that yesterday was rock bottom finally for this team.
Yesterday was splat?
Yesterday was, I've been saying it, every day feels like rock bottom. Yesterday was finally rock bottom. And when you think about the things that have happened to this team this year, starting with fucking, we signed Carlos Correa. Just kidding, we didn't sign Carlos Correa. Then World Baseball Classic and Edwin Diaz celebrating a win for Team Puerto Rico, jumping up and down with his teammates, tears his ACL.
Yeah,
that felt like rock
Talk
bottom.
About an omen.
Okay. It was. It was the precursor.
Yeah.
It was the preface, if you will. It was the foreword. It was the foreshadowing of this season. This season was a stupid, idiotic celebration turned into a goddamn torn up knee. That's what this season has been. Okay, and embarrassing loss after embarrassing loss. A few nights ago, fucking Brett Beatty takes one off the face on a pop-up. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
They had a...
I started hearing the Bad News Bears music in my head. Yeah.
They had a series in Atlanta where they led all 3 games by 3 runs or more and lost all 3 games. Like, It just always seemed like rock bottom. And finally, yesterday was actually rock bottom with this team. And I wrote a little something.
He wrote a little something.
So I started writing
because
shit.
As mad as he was, he couldn't get it all out verbally.
Well, the fucked up part is like I went really dark. Then I went into like the whole history of the Mets bullshit that I've dealt with. But I'll just read the first one, the really dark one.
The really dark one.
Yeah.
Dim the lights, America. Set the mood.
So some people go through life wondering, how did we get here? Who put us here? And what's next after we leave? The privilege of being a Mets fan is that I don't have to ask those questions. Every second of Mets fandom provides me with the simple answers to those poignant questions, to the mystery of life and creation. And it's simple. There is nothing beyond this place, and there is no one out there giving a fuck about what we go through. In a sense, I feel grateful because I don't have to buy into lies of pretend paradise and presume prosperity in the afterlife. Instead, I get to experience the reality that is nothing awaits us on the other side. It's empty and dark, cruel and unusual for no reason at all. That is what being a fucking Mets fan is, okay? And then I thought about a quote from Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption when he says, "Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. It's got no use on the inside. You better get used to that idea." And I thought, Morgan Freeman, you're fucking right. Because hope is how guys like me get to a place like this, okay? Dear God. Dear God. You're not drinking that, are you?
Yes, I am.
Do it. Okay, so that was my dark soliloquy. Then I wrote, a bunch about all the devastating gut punches that I've seen as a Met fan. But I'm not going to go through all that shit because it's not worth it. It's really not. But let me break down yesterday for you so I can explain the roller coaster that I was on. So this whole season has sucked. All right? Complete disappointment. Highest payroll ever for a Major League Baseball team. Maybe for an American sports team. I don't even know. I really don't know that, but
Keep going. Keep going.
So yesterday, I actually was hopeful at the start of the day. And that's why I ended up so pissed last night. So I was hopeful because Scherzer had been traded, the closer had been traded. I started thinking, okay, let's start trading away players and getting prospects, Get what we can now. Because in the offseason, we can buy more pitching. There's a lot of pitching coming out. One being Shohei Ohtani. One being another guy from Japan, I believe, who has won the pitching triple crown for the past 3 years. And he's young, all right? And he's coming from one of the Asian leagues to the major leagues. Don't try and tie a noose. No. This is a story of hope, RJ.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is.
Could have fooled me.
No, it is. It'll get there. So I start thinking, all right, yeah, we'll sell off these pieces. We'll get a bunch of, prospects back. And here we go. He's spending money. Would you stop? He's spending money, but he's building up the farm system. So I start getting hopeful, And then they trade Verlander. Boom. And it's like, holy shit. They got the Astros' top prospect, their fourth prospect. Would you stop? I can't even think because of your dumb ass. You're going to get canceled for suicide. If you ever commit suicide, we'll come back to this moment and be like, he was giving us signs, folks. He was giving us signs. All right, yeah, so I committed mental suicide.
It was the soliloquy. It got me. It got to me.
The fuck up. So, anyways, now that I can't get this fucking image out of my face because I'm looking at it. Anyway, I started getting hopeful again, okay? And I started seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. So, me and the wifey, we go to see Oppenheimer, 6 o'clock show. Mets are in Kansas City, And I say, you know what? Fuck it. They traded everything away. But Scherzer and Verlander weren't even doing that great this year. Who knows? Maybe they go on a stupid run, and the last month of the season, they're a few games back, and I'm actually watching some interesting baseball.
This would be the funny thing about it. What if they actually made a run now they're all cleaned up?
Right. So I start letting my dumbass think that.
Of course.
And while I'm watching Oppenheimer, I'm looking at my phone. Oh, Pete Alonso hits a homer.
That damn Alonso.
So
he's all about false hope.
then we come out of the movies, and I put I look at Twitter, or X as it's called now.
Yeah.
And there's a video of Max Scherzer's bitch ass.
Yep.
And he's like, well, I went to the brass and I talked to Billy, and he said, they weren't looking to compete in 2024 and maybe not even in 2025. Might not be until 2026. Okay, so he goes, all right, well then I'll waive my no trade clause. And then I become like irate. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, we got the richest owner in baseball.
That's the next 3 years. That's the rest of this one and the next 2.
Exactly. And I said, we got the richest owner in baseball who went for it and it didn't work, but he turned those old guys into farm system. So it's like, all right, well,
how good did they get enough? That was did they get enough?
They got what they could get. You're talking about 2 40-year-olds.
I'm just saying.
Scherzer.
Did they get enough given what?
I think so.
Okay, that's what I'm asking you.
But they had to pay a lot of the contract.
They doesn't mean they didn't get it. They got enough.
Dude, they got the Astros' #1 prospect and #4 prospect. You don't get shit like that.
Okay, well,
not the old guys.
This is my thing. You've got to find. Look, not to cut you off, but given the noose didn't work. Anyway, the bottom line is this. Look,
but you have to get to
if
the
you're
end
going
of
to
my
throw
night.
in the towel, which I am vehemently against, but if you're going to do it, okay, and I'll tell you why. Because of what just happened in Kansas City. You sent a clear message to the guys in that locker room, this is over. And then you have the gall to act surprised when they get swept by the lowly Royals, who are also playing for nothing.
You didn't let me get there.
Well, you can still get there, but I'm saying before we went on the air, you were like, can you
surprised.
It wasn't? Okay, well, fine, because honestly, they told that locker room, it's over.
Right, but
they did.
But you're not even listening to how they lost last night. They didn't lose as if they gave up, okay? They lost in the most embarrassing fucking way possible. However, I'm not there yet. Okay. So Scherzer says that, and I get pissed, and I'm like, fuck. Like, I wanted them to punt on this season. I did.
You did.
However.
A month ago.
I wanted that.
Literally a month ago.
I knew it was over.
Yeah.
However, I did expect them to be players again this offseason and go into next year with a chance.
Sure.
A chance to win. Because they're not that far off. Okay?
I don't think they are.
They're not, because Diaz comes back next year.
There's still
Your closer comes back next year.
There's still a lot of talent on that roster.
Right.
And even with the trades they made, there's still a lot of talent on this roster.
They have a core.
I'm saying that I don't look at the Mets as rebuilding. I look at them as reloading, which is why I can't why I can't understand the whole 24 and maybe 25. Where are you getting that?
Right. Well, that's what Scherzer said. So I was pissed. Okay. So now I went from hopeful, thinking about the Mets making a run this year out of nowhere, to down again and embarrassed because I let myself believe happiness was ahead, because Scherzer says the thing about 24 and 25. But then I start watching the fucking game again.
You're a fan.
Yeah. And then, so the Mets blow the one-run lead. Then they give up another 2 on bad defense, okay, and walks. And then they come back. And they go up, I don't know, what the fuck did they go? They came back and tied it. They went ahead 4-3, okay. Then bullpen comes in, walks somebody, gets around on a fucking sac fly, scores, tied. Okay? Then they go into extra innings, and I'm still watching. Go into extra innings, and Francisco Alvarez, one of their top prospect, hits a 2-run bomb. I mean, absolute missile.
Tattoos.
And it's like that's the future.
Sent it.
He now has 21 homers.
Has it even landed yet?
As a 21-year-old catcher, the only person with more homers in their first season, guess. I've told you.
Pudge.
No, Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench, the greatest maybe catcher of all time. One of them.
Johnny Bench had.
He's in the top 3.
Johnny Bench had 26 in his rookie year.
Big red machine. The big red machine.
Okay, now Alvarez
had to show the baseball bunch.
Alvarez wasn't here the first 3 weeks of the season, okay? And he's got 21 already. So he's going to pass Johnny Bench. So again, I start feeling like, holy shit, like, we're going to be okay.
Wet my whistle Wednesday.
The Mets are up 6-4. They go into the bottom of the 10th and immediately just start choking it away. Just gobbling it down. You know, just hitting the back of their throat. And
wait, can you do that again? And it's almost realistic.
And here it goes.
It's a realistic.
So in the 10th, they start with a guy on second.
Of course.
So lead off double. Bang! 6-5.
6-5.
Second bing, bang, boom. Second batter. Boom, double, 6-6.
Bing, bang. It's bang. Okay. It's bang. It's bing,
then
bang.
Somehow the Mets find a way
boom.
Somehow the Mets find a way to get 2 outs. Okay. Call in a guy from the bullpen. Okay. So it's tie game, bases loaded, 6-6.
The bases are drunk.
And this is why I'm saying this wasn't the guys giving up. They came back in this game multiple times. They went up. This guy comes in. He forgets the earpiece for his pitch gun. So Alvarez is behind the plate, hitting the buttons to call the pitches, and the guy can't hear it because he doesn't have it in his fucking ear. So once he comes set, he goes to make the motion to say, I can't hear you. But he can't do that because he's on the mound and he's come set. And they call a balk, game over, and I just flip my fucking shit. It was a walk-off balk because the...
Here's a question for you, America. How many walk-off balks have you ever heard of?
The Mets have done it at least 3 times. This is not the first time the Mets have done it, okay? It's happened.
This season?
No, not this season. But in my tenure as a Mets fan.
When things go wrong, they go wrong.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's just like, it's so embarrassing to be a Mets fan. Okay?
Wait a minute.
It's embarrassment.
Stop. I want to shake your hand. I just fell in love with you.
Why?
And I mean that in a strictly brother-brother kind of way.
Why?
Why? Because this here, what he's feeling right now, is what I felt watching the Boston Celtics this year. Right there. When he said, I was embarrassed to be a fan. That there, boys and girls, there it is. Now he knows. Now he knows exactly.
I know.
No,
fuck you.
You know exactly.
Fuck you.
You know exactly how I feel.
I've known.
You knew how I felt when I said I was embarrassed?
Yes.
Because you were trying to talk me off the ledge. You notice how I'm not trying to talk you off the ledge right now?
Fuck you.
Because I know.
You've tried to talk me off the ledge too.
I'm not now. I'm not.
Okay.
Once you felt embarrassment, there is no way.
Fan. Okay. Every fucking year on July 1st, who's the joke of the fucking town?
But
the Mets, because of Bobby Bonilla Day.
Okay, fine.
How many fucking times are the Mets the fucking kicking dog of the
stop
fucking
it.
league? All the time.
All right,
everybody,
first of all,
LOL Mets is a hashtag.
First of all.
LOL Mets is a hashtag.
Actually,
the Mets are going to Met. When you
know what else is a hashtag? That cry symbol next to Detroit Lions. The cry, little guy with the tear, and Detroit Lions. That's a fucking hashtag, too.
I've never heard it.
You don't hear it, you see it.
Never seen it.
Well, you're not a Detroit fan. How'd you know?
Dude, all I'm saying is I know embarrassment. Embarrassment is being a Mets fan. It's shame. It's just
you won 101 games last year
and blew it.
But you still won 101 games.
That's my point. Okay, we won 101 games, and in the biggest fucking game of the year, Max Scherzer gave up 4 homers and 6 runs to the Padres.
What happened?
We shit the bed. It was embarrassing.
What happened to the Boston Bruins?
They embarrassed themselves.
The greatest regular season in 106-year history of the NHL, and they had a 3-1 lead and lost not 1, but 2 games at home. I totally understand your embarrassment.
Dude, I know you do, but I've always understood it.
But to have that kind of a...
I finally know.
I'm saying you know how I feel now. Now I know you know. Well, now I know that you know.
Now
that I know that you know.
But I've always known.
I didn't know that you knew.
Dude,
I suspected.
The Giants blow
but I didn't know.
When the Giants...
Now I know.
When the Giants blow a 3-score lead to the Eagles, and on the final play of the game, they punt the ball to Deshaun Jackson and lose on a walk-off punt return, that's embarrassment.
No.
Yes.
Embarrassment right now.
That is embarrassing.
Is the Washington Nationals. That is embarrassment.
No.
That when there are more visiting fans in the stands than yours fans, that's embarrassment. You have hit the bottom of the barrel when the visiting team has more fans than you do, and you know I'm right, America, and so does he.
Well, of course.
Well, when did that ever happen in New York? When was there ever a game, as bad as the Mets have been at times, where there were more fans in the stands?
Just go to a Phillies Mets game when the Mets suck.
In New York?
Yes.
There's been more? You can confirm this.
Yes.
Okay.
When the Mets are bad, Yankees fans could take it over if they wanted to.
Yeah, but they're not playing. I'm saying they're not playing. I'm saying
they're playing the Subway Series
games. That's the point. Like when the Mets came down, we had to get on a plane to get here. Okay. To play the Nationals last year. We went to this game for his birthday.
They were a first-place team.
But the Mets were, but the Nationals were a doormat.
Yeah, they suck.
They're
not supposed to be good.
I know.
It's not as embarrassing when...
This would never happen. As bad as the Red Sox could ever get, this would never happen at Fenway Park.
Of course.
It would never happen. I guarantee you it would never happen. I'm saying that there is the bottom of the barrel. Okay?
Sure, but it's different when you're expected to
we
be
were
good
in the stands. Remember this? We were in the stands. We're looking around going, holy shit, there's more orange and blue around here than there's the fucking Mets. It was crazy.
Dude, they had just traded their whole team.
It was fucking crazy.
Remember, they just did what the Mets just did. They traded Soto. They traded Scherzer.
Yeah.
Or no, it was Soto, Trey Turner. Yeah.
Look,
Scherzer.
I'm just saying that this is the first time I've ever heard him say that. I'm not saying he hasn't felt it. I just never heard him say it before. Well, now I know that he knows what I didn't know.
I've always known.
I didn't know that. I suspected.
You don't understand how embarrassing it is to be a Mets fan?
I was a Pats fan my entire fucking life. The first 24 years, flush them. Flush them!
Fuck you.
Dude.
You're so far removed to that.
I am now, thanks to one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady.
You don't even remember what it was like.
Oh, I remember what it was like. You ever heard of Lisa Olson? Oh, I remember what it was like.
Even remember.
Oh, I do. I was there. I was in the stands. They couldn't give it to his way.
After fucking 9 Super Bowl appearances.
That's after Lisa Olson.
I don't give a shit.
I give a shit.
You're too far removed. You're too far removed.
You never forget those.
Hollywood.
You never forget them.
He moved on up. He forgot about it.
I didn't move on up. We drafted Thomas Edward Patrick Brady is what we did.
And you moved out. You banged the supermodel.
Fuck
all he is. You forgot what it's like to root for a shitbag team.
I got lucky. They were so bad for so long, they couldn't give those tickets away. The joke up in Foxborough was, we had the greatest high school stadium in America. That's the problem. It's an NFL fucking team. Okay?
Don't make this about the Pats.
I'm not. I'm just saying I have been to the lowest of lows. And by the way, here's how low it is. And he doesn't even understand this. I had 2 brothers in my own fucking house making fun of me, and they live there. They're rooting for the Steelers and the Cowboys. That is even lower than low. There was nobody in your fucking family busting on you while the fucking Atlanta Braves are winning right in front of the Mets. That never happened to you. Trust me, I will never forget the lowest of lows. When your own family, and by the way, my dad's best friend played for the fucking Patriots. If there was ever an excuse to be a fan of a team, I know. And you don't forget that shit.
He's out of touch.
Not out of touch. You don't forget that shit.
All right,
you don't forget that shit.
Let me explain something to you.
So I know.
Okay.
You think you know?
9 Super Bowl appearances.
That's after
20 years.
18, actually.
Proving my point. The Mets,
America. 1 out of 2.
Have had 10 playoff appearances in 61 years.
And a World Series over my beloved Red Sox.
2 World Series, actually.
But only one over my Red Sox. But
that's true.
All right, then. So don't give me that shit like you haven't tasted victory, because you have.
Okay, now.
You're not the Detroit Lions who have won 1 playoff game since 1952. You're not there.
Dude.
You're not there.
Hold on a second.
You're not there, and you know it.
What do you mean I'm not there?
The Detroit Lions have won 1 playoff game in 60 fucking years. You've got 2 worlds. You're not there. Of course, I'm not there. You're not there.
Okay. Let's see here. Do you know how many times?
Damn it, I need another beer. What? Sorry.
Do you know how many times the Mets have gone to the playoffs 2 years in a row? Just take a guess.
Never.
Okay. They have. It has happened.
What? Once?
Twice. Twice in 61 years, they've gone to the playoffs and back-to-back. And one of those times, it was when there was still just a wild card playoff game. They got to the game and lost. That was their second appearance in 2 years. I mean, so to tell me I finally know embarrassment.
I didn't say you knew.
Shame on yourself.
I never said you didn't. I'm saying I didn't know that you knew.
Shame on you.
I suspect.
Shame on you for not knowing.
I didn't know. I suspected, but I didn't know.
Because last night when they blew it against the Royals,
I've never heard you say I was embarrassed to be a Mets fan. All right, then I've just never heard you say that.
All right,
that's all I'm saying.
All right,
but I know your pain.
And to see
I know
that
what it feels
happen,
like.
It was agonizing. Like I got on Twitter immediately,
It's
and
agonizing.
I was like, I cannot fucking believe this bullshit.
Yeah, you should have come over last night. We should have smoked a joint.
I know.
We should have recorded. We should have recorded last night.
But it was, I know, but I was in.
I'm always here for you.
I know.
I'm always here.
I know,
when have you ever called me and said, or texted me, and have I ever refused?
No, you're right.
I've never refused him. He knows this. I've never refused him.
If
he needed to vent, we were there. But IDD was there, America.
But I was at a point where I was just so angry and disgusted.
But sometimes you got to get that out. It was
just like,
because you know what happens, America, when you let it fester.
And then
you get soliloquies.
No, and then I started kind of looking at Twitter, and I'm seeing
you get a plethora of emotions. You run the gauntlet of emotions. What happened to you? Tell me about the last 36 hours. Where were you? You said it off the air. Where were you? You were high, low, suicidal, that, semi-optimistic, semi-pessimistic, all the way to
hopeful, embarrassed, despair, hopeful, embarrassed.
You ran the gauntlet.
Yes,
and not when. And all you had to do was say, "Any chance of recording tonight?" Done.
Yeah, but I didn't even want to. That's
the point. You were so mad you couldn't even talk about it.
But then everything I saw made me more mad because I saw Pete Alonso at his locker and they're talking to him like, so what do you think about?
If they had traded Pete Alonso, what would you have done?
I'd have been pissed.
I'd have been real pissed. I think he needs to stay there. He's the soul.
I
think he's the soul.
He's
of that
one
team.
of the core.
I'm not even a Mets fan. I think he's the soul.
He's
of that
one of
team.
the core.
You can't trade Pete Alonso.
No, but this
to me, it's not over until he's gone.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
No, that's why it's not over. Their core is still intact.
That's why I don't understand.
They traded 2 old pitchers and a rental closer that they only had a 1-year contract.
Again, I didn't hear the owner say this, but hearing Verlander say it, Scherzer say it, this is the first time I've disagreed with this owner.
Yeah.
Vehemently disagreed with this owner. I think he's done everything an owner can do to help a team win. And this is the first time I disagree with him. Because
but
you can't say that when your core is still there.
But he came out today and said something slightly different.
Oh, he caught himself.
No. Scherzer's the one that said he said it.
Yeah, but that's public. Everybody knows it.
Right, but he didn't say it to the public.
No, but he knows it's out there. Said it. He knows it's out there.
But we don't know that that's what he said to Scherzer.
You think Scherzer made it up?
Listen. So, anyway, I started getting pissed because I'm seeing videos of reporters.
Should I get some popcorn? Sorry,
no, just let me finish. They're interviewing Alonso and saying, like, have you thought about the possibility of you getting traded? And he's like, well, I haven't talked to the front office about it. He's like, but all I can really control is, being the best player I can. And that pissed me off because I'm like, they should talk to their best players and tell them. The best players shouldn't have to go to them and say, hey, what's the vision for the team? They should go, when they're doing a fire sale, you go to your core. You go to the people you want around and say, look, we want you here. We're not.
Let me know if you want one.
Okay. We're not giving up, but this is the way forward. What we're doing right now is the way forward. If we do,
that's fair.
If we're stubborn right now, this will fuck us for the next 5 years.
Look, I get why it happened. Okay, I get it. I'm just saying that, and I've talked to it again. To be fair here, full disclosure, no one I talked to was a Mets fan. I just talked to a number of different people over the past 36 hours that are baseball fans in general. The one thing they all said was, how do you not at least give it a year? But then he said something on the show. I forget when he said it, but it made sense. I never forgot it. He says, look, the value for the guys that you're trying to move might never be higher. So I see both sides of the argument.
And that's what happened.
I see, again, I see both sides of the argument. It's a very interesting, honestly, it's an interesting discussion because if you think or you believe you don't have a shot.
They knew it.
Okay, maybe what happens if they come back and they lose by a game? Then they didn't know it. Okay, the bottom line is if they
that would be very Mets of them. Well,
the point is, I don't think you ever know. Here's what I know. They are. What's the Mets' record right now?
I think they're 6 games under.
What's their net? Well, no, what's their record though?
50 and 56.
Okay, that means they literally have, what, 50 games?
They have a third. They have a
50
third
games left?
Season. Yeah.
Is that right? 50
Well,
games?
No,
56 games left because it's 162, right?
162.
So they have 56 games left.
Almost a third of the season.
This is what I'm saying. Mathematically, they aren't even close to out of it. I don't care how they're not mathematically not even close to out of it yet. This is the problem. Okay, and this is why I see that side of the argument, why I was on it. Because I'm like, to me, if you're going to spend that kind of money, you don't pull the plug this soon. But think about who they moved. And again, the Mets situation, I think, is different from the norm. I think it's the outlier. Because they've got two aging pitchers, both decorated. And could they push another team over the top? Absolutely. So their value might never be higher. That I get.
It won't be.
To me, I'm saying
next year they're older.
I'm saying this is the one-off. I think the norm is if you spend, again, it can't be normal because no one's ever spent $380 million in a fucking year. Okay?
That's right.
But I'm just saying when put it this way, when you have the highest payroll in the league, whatever the fucking number is, I don't think you give up when you have 56 games to go and you're 5 games out of the wild card.
They were done.
Maybe they were, and you may be proven right. I'm just saying.
I'm already right.
There's 56 games to go. We'll know in 56 games if you were right.
You know
Obviously, if yesterday was splat, according to you, there's nowhere to go but up. They can't get. They bottomed out yesterday. They bottomed out yesterday.
No. They're gonna fucking mush their face all over splat. They're in a pile of shit now, just playing like pigs. That's what the rest of the season will be.
They're in a shit sandwich with a side of shit?
Yeah.
With extra shit sauce?
They're in the fucking pig pen.
All right, so
they're in a pig pen just
they're in a shit sandwich with a side of shit and extra shit sauce.
Yeah, it's real shitty.
All right.
It's real shitty.
It's 56
No, but I'm
to
just saying it made me more mad when I saw Alonso there.
But you wanted this.
Listen to what I'm saying. It made me mad when I saw Alonso there saying, I haven't talked to the front office. I don't know what's going on. All I can do is play hard. Like,
Who's the captain of that team?
There is no captain.
They have no captain?
Yeah, we talked about this before. To me, the leader, the owner, the GM should have went to the core and said, look, this is what we're going to do. We want y'all here. Okay? So don't let the noise get in your way. We are moving forward. This is the path that way. But seeing like the stars going, I don't really know what's going on. Now, Lindor said he talked to them, and he kind of confirmed what Scherzer said. And that made me go, what the fuck?
This is a
problem. That made me get real mad. Because some people were going, oh, he was just lying to Scherzer to get him to sign the no trade clause. And I was like, what? To me, that seems like fraud.
Why would they lie to him?
Well, people are saying maybe Scherzer wouldn't have signed his no trade clause unless they have said we're not competing. And they wanted to get rid of him.
What's the harm in keeping Scherzer?
The harm is, so here's the thing. If they had, let's say, the worst case scenario was they stand pat.
And do nothing.
They keep Scherzer. They keep Verlander. They keep.
What if they had added something?
Then they deplete their farm system even more.
Front of the bat?
They don't.
Well, the biggest. Let me ask you this, not to cut you off.
Starting pitching.
Is it starting pitching or is it the lineup? Because you keep saying, and I agree with you, the lineup has underachieved all year.
It has.
What if they had gotten a bat?
The lineup has underachieved all year, but they're starting at any moment. Max Scherzer can go out there and give up a 6-burger in the third inning.
Or he can pitch a shutout.
Right. It's been all year.
But the bats have been pretty. Even Alonso, who's got the home runs, but his average is way down. He's 30 points below his career average.
Do you know how many games they lost when they scored 6 runs? The most in the league. Okay. Starting pitching. I'm telling you.
Okay.
So, yes, they needed bats too. But.
What if they got another arm? A younger arm?
That's what I'm saying. They couldn't do that. They didn't have the pieces to get that. You need prospects. They had old players.
Their system is shit right now?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why when you look at what they did, they spent all this money, and in the span of 4 days, they got back like 4 or 5 top 100 prospects. That's unheard of.
So they got enough.
That's retooling your farm system in 4 days. So they spent all that money and now have accrued some equity in their farm system. Okay, so.
Because the first trade you brought up wasn't so sure. You sound like, well, they already had this position covered. And they had that position. The guys they brought in were.
Well, they got 2 minor league position players, and at infielders.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck?
This is what I'm asking.
Because I was thinking, I thought we were going to get impact players back for next year.
Yeah.
But that's not what they're doing. They're trying to actually build up the farm and then, I hope, continue to spend some money to bring in Major League ready players while the farm is growing and, reproducing, if you will. So Cohen comes out tonight. He's in Kansas City meeting with the team. And he talks to reporters. And Nimmo actually spoke. So Nimmo, center fielder, they signed him last year. He's there for 7 years. He said, they never told me we weren't going to compete in 2024.
So Nimmo says that.
Yes.
Lindor and yes, Lindor and what's his name, Scherzer.
Well, so Lindor didn't completely back up what Scherzer said. It sounds like a little bit of nuance here, because Nimmo was like, "That's an open beer." What the
fuck? It wasn't me.
So Nimmo says,
but I'll drink it.
They didn't tell me we weren't going to compete, but they said, look, we're probably
Sam Summer, by the way. Sam Summer.
So
we're with you in Boston. We're with Misery Loves Company.
So he said, they didn't say we weren't going to compete, but they said, look, we're probably not going to do what we did this past offseason. And he was like,
okay.
But I mean, the payroll was $375 million. So I didn't expect that,
So who do you believe?
I believe Steve Cohen. Because he said tonight, everybody said, what happened? Why did this happen? Right? And he goes, nobody listens to me. He goes, if you listen to my press conference a month ago.
No, I'm saying he said this a month ago. He said was going to happen.
And he did.
He did say that.
He said, look, and they were 6 games out.
Yeah,
and he said, if we're still here,
yeah.
It would be smart to do. It wouldn't be smart to just sit there and do nothing.
Or even to add something?
No.
You think that might be the difference at the start?
No, he meant it wouldn't be smart to not trade some stuff away if you could get value for it. He said, and he was like, I said that. And he goes, look, he's like, we're going to field a competitive team next year. He goes, now look, I'm opportunistic. There's going to be free agency. If I see something, I might go for it because I'm opportunistic. But then he said, but we've already seen that just spending a bunch of money doesn't guarantee
it doesn't
anything.
always work.
Right.
We've seen this. There's a million examples of this in America, in every sport, by the way. No, it doesn't guarantee success.
I 100% believe him over Max Scherzer. Right now, I can't
stand.
What
about Lindor, who backed up what Scherzer said?
Well, I think Lindor kind of was in between Nimmo and Scherzer. He was kind of saying, they said they were going to take a step back. And I think they meant on spending as much as they did. But if he sees an opportunity to get Ohtani,
look at
I hope he would do it.
When I heard this, I was shocked because this owner doesn't sound like that. That's why I was questioning. I wanted to get your opinion on this. And then you tell me, and then Lindor backs, or at least says, hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. Look, 2 things can be true here. But the thing is, I don't believe, regardless of what was said, given the core of this team, that is, to his point, still intact, how you're not going to have a shot at it next year.
You could make a wild card next year.
Easily. They got more talent than right now they have more talent than the Red Sox.
Dude, at this point.
And the Red Sox are a game and a half out.
At this point, in both leagues, if you're 3 games over 500, you're a wild card team.
It's called parity, boys and girls. It's what they
wanted.
wanted. Like the NFL, they wanted this. Let's be clear about something. Major League Baseball figured out why the NFL is so successful. You know why? Because half the teams are still in it after Thanksgiving. That's why. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then you throw fantasy football in, that's a whole other thing. But the bottom line is Major League Baseball, and again, we talked about Wild Card Weekend, what a fucking awesome thing that was. Okay, how baseball, they nailed that. That's the best thing they've done.
That's a great Wild Card Weekend.
I'm saying it was a great Wild Card Weekend. And this year's going to be great too. The bottom line is they kept more fan bases in it, which means more revenue. At the end of the day, it's a bottom line. It's about the green, boys and girls. Always has been, always will be. But if you increase the number of teams that have a chance, what do? You increase revenue. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like going into next year, we're going to go, the Mets are going to win the East.
No.
Okay?
But they're going to field a competitive team.
Exactly.
This ain't no cellar dweller.
Right now, they need
and everything went wrong.
Everything.
I mean, everything that could go wrong for this team has gone wrong. I can't think of anything else short of Pete Alonso dying in a car accident. That's the only thing that could happen. Hope it doesn't happen because I'm going to be a fan of the guy. He's Italian.
Don't you fucking do that.
I hope I jinxed it by saying it.
I hope so.
The idea was to bring it out so
it'll
it jinxes
never happen.
I hope not.
God.
I'm trying to jinx it right now.
You know,
I don't want to see that.
Before last season,
he'll be on suicide.
Before last season, he got his car flipped over. He got in an accident. He was.
Then his odds were even less.
He wasn't hurt at all.
But his car flipped over.
Douchebag Braves fan on Twitter said, "I wish he would have died in that car accident."
Okay, honestly, I don't know who that Brave fan is, and I'd have a stake in this. But honestly, do yourself a favor and throw yourself in front of a train. Because you fucking feel like that. Look, as much as I hated Peyton Manning and Magic Johnson and the Montreal Canadiens just as a fucking hole on principle, okay, I would never wish harm physically on an athlete. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Unless they hurt another human being. That's different. That's fucking different. But for you to fucking say that about any fucking athlete, let alone Pete Alonso, that's pathetic. You need some fucking help. Who the fuck you are? Seriously. Go in front of, sit down on the fucking couch. Seriously. Unfucking believable. You need some fucking help if you feel like that. Seriously, you're missing something. Missing.
You're going a little overboard.
No, I'm not.
I probably felt like that about some Braves in the years.
Bullshit. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
John Rocker
I know you.
Shit.
No, yeah, but you don't want him to die. You don't
John
wish he
Rocker,
died.
I could care less.
You don't wish but he's that's a different. He's a bad person.
That's true. He is.
That has nothing to do with him. That's a whole different. I just said unless you've done harm to others.
Reggie Miller though.
Oh come on.
That fucker.
What did he ever do to you? Then break it.
Doing all
that was Spike. And by the way, Spike asked for it. Spike's an ass clown. Spike asked for it.
I love Spike's movies.
You know what? Spike talks about when he met Larry Bird. That was awesome because he bitched out Larry Bird all the time and always put him down. And then he was afraid to meet him. And Larry had him in. They had a beer. It was the fucking greatest thing. He was like, I love this man. And I can't believe I ever spoke ill of him. And the thing is, Spike was kind of forced to do it because all his fucking peers are like, you're bad-mouthing him? Are you fucking nuts? That guy has whipped our ass. Are you fucking kidding? You're going to bad-mouth him? But you guys saw Do the Right Thing.
No brothers on the wall. How come there's no brothers on the wall?
The white guy wearing the Bird jersey that they fucking bashed in the movie. Spike knows he did wrong. But I give Spike credit. Spike was man enough to admit it. He went to go make amends. He was scared to death. I've never been afraid in my life. And then Larry had me in and just, he was the coolest guy ever. And the things I said and felt and believed about this man, he's like, Spike Lee, give him credit. He was man. Because, by the way, being a man is all about being able to admit when you're wrong.
How this became Larry Bird and Spike Lee, I'll never understand.
Well, Spike's a New Yorker. We're still there. We're still there. Anyway, I feel bad. I feel bad for my friend that I'm not a Mets fan because I felt embarrassed. I know what he's talking about. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody, and that hurts. It hurts because you're sitting there and you don't even know what to do. You're like, you don't know, and this is the thing, and this is why I get why he didn't want to record, because you don't even know what to fucking do. You have a ring, your head is going, this is the thing about being a fan, a real fan about a team. And by the way, to his point, if the Celtics win 20 games, I'll still fucking turn them on. If the Patriots go 1-15, I'll still turn them on. I get it.
Football's harder.
I get it.
Football, I feel like
it's like 1 week for more misery. Like at least baseball has a game tomorrow.
No, but I mean, like football's harder for me to put on if they're bad because it's once a week, so it's easier for me to just forget.
Yeah, but you do fantasy football now. You can't forget.
Right, but no.
What if you have a giant? What if you have a giant on there?
Oh, then I'll watch. Yeah. But I'm talking about like the Giants in between their good years have been pretty bad. Like this past 10 years have been awful.
But you got 2 Super Bowls.
It's been easy to
two more than most
teams.
teams.
I don't complain.
Yeah, don't complain.
And 2 great Super Bowls.
Yeah, don't complain.
But I'm just saying, like, it's been easy to ignore them when they sucked. The Mets, I'm deeper tied to the Mets.
Oh, but that's your team.
Yeah.
In fact, I would argue the Knicks are your second team. Because of Patrick Ewing.
So the Knicks are my second team. However, the past 23 years of futility has made me forget.
Well, they're in the play. They look good now. They're on their upswing.
I know, but like
they look competitive.
But literally,
they're in a great conference. A lot of rivalries can be renewed.
After '99, they fell off a cliff.
They did. Well, Ewing retired,
and then
they didn't replace him because he's a Hall of Famer. You don't just replace a Hall of Famer. Trust me, I know.
Dude, the Knicks went for a decade without being.
And the owner Dolan, he needs to go.
Yeah.
He has fucked that thing up.
Dude, the Knicks went for a decade without being on fucking national television. After being on so much.
Even when
during
Michael
the
and the
90s.
Bulls came to town? Oh, that's right. It was 2000.
I'm talking about after.
Yeah.
I'm talking about once.
Even when
Ewing was
LeBron
gone.
played there?
Okay.
If they had another team like a star, they wouldn't get him then? They'd get him then. If LeBron came in or Steph came in or...
All right, maybe it was a 3-year period, but it was like... I remember when they came on, and I was like, my God, I haven't watched this team in so long because they're not on because they stink.
They hadn't mattered.
Yeah. So...
Now you got Tibbs, who's a defensive-minded coach.
I mean,
Mazzulla!
No, I think they're
on the upswing. They're on the upswing.
The Mets.
They're young.
The
They're
Mets,
talented.
on the other hand, is a lot of hope going on right now.
Let me ask you this question: how young or old is the core? And what's the window here, realistically?
Like 4
4
years.
Didn't think he was going to get that one, did he? America?
4 years.
That's it? How old's Alonzo?
29.
I thought he was younger than that. Sorry.
So I mean, like, I'm not saying he won't be good after that.
Well, he can
but,
always become a DH.
The prime of these guys. So Lindor is 28.
Okay.
Alonzo's 29. McNeil's probably same age.
Okay.
Nimmo is in that area of age.
Yeah.
Like, that's their core.
And who's the closer again?
The closer is Diaz.
How old is he?
I don't know how old he is, but they signed him for 4 years. Closers don't last forever. They signed him for 4 years. He just tore his ACL.
Rivera and Eckersley are the two that always come to
those
mind.
are
They
fucking
won off. They lasted
anomalies.
forever.
Trevor
but yeah.
Hoffman.
Yeah. They're out there. They're rare. Though.
So he could be good for a while, but I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
so they have a 4-year deal with him.
Okay.
Now he missed his first year, so 3 more years.
Okay.
Coming off a torn up knee. But their hope is that the system starts to grow.
Yeah.
And once these guys start to leave their prime, we'll have other people replenishing. That's what this move was about yesterday.
No, look at it. I asked you a simple question, and you gave me the answer I was hoping, because I didn't know I was going to hear. They got enough. Because if you're going to do this, you better fucking get players.
Now they need starting pitching.
Yeah, but you better get something to build on. Because when you send that message with 50-something games to go to your locker room, you better fucking get something. And look, I'm glad the owner came out and said what he said because he needed to say it. Because the only one that was doing the talking was Scherzer. So everybody's thinking, what? They're not going to even try to win for the next 2-3 years?
That really annoys me.
Look, I wasn't in the room and neither was he. I don't know what was said, but for the owner to come out and do this, that was the right thing to do.
But don't you think that was a little shitty of him?
I don't know because I wasn't there.
No,
it could be.
But
if he's lying, yes.
No, even if
he's lying, yes.
Even if he's not lying, to leave that locker room, okay? To leave.
How long was he there?
Year and a half. You won 101 games with those guys.
Yeah, 1 year. Is there 1 year? How much
I know.
loyalty do you build up over a year?
To your teammates?
It's
I think you can
baseball.
build up a lot.
Maybe. But I'm just saying,
I
in
think
that
to your
sport
teammates.
where...
I'm not talking about loyalty to the organization, but
Well-
to go out and give an interview and talk about that private conversation between you and Steve Cohen,
Yeah.
you know it's going to put all your old teammates under the microscope. Because now they're all going to go, did you hear what Scherzer said? You guys aren't going to compete for 2 years. And now they're all going, oh, shit, I better talk to...
Oh, hold on a minute. Scherzer doesn't believe that. He's saying management told him that. That's different.
What do you mean?
Well, if management's telling him, look, 24 is a wash and maybe even 25, that's not him saying the players aren't going to compete. That's him saying management told him we're not going to try to compete.
Right.
That's management, not the players. The players didn't say that.
I'm not saying the players did. I'm saying when he comes out and says, this is what they told me, he knows all the reporters are going to run to the Mets locker room and go, did you hear what Scherzer said? He said that your front office isn't going to compete for the next 2 years. How do you feel about that? And they're like, whoa, what the fuck?
I don't think he's calling them out, though. He's calling out the front
He's not
office.
calling them out.
Yeah.
But now they're like, holy shit, are we not going to compete for 2 years? Damn.
Fair question, because you felt the same. You thought you asked the same question.
Right. That's why I thought it was a dick move for him to do that.
But then Lindor backed it up.
But Nimmo
Which,
didn't.
by the way, is probably what prompted the fucking owner. Because all right, there's two fucking guys talking about this. I gotta squash this in the butt.
Well, it was-
which, by the way, was the right thing to do.
Everyone in New York was talking about it.
Okay, then the point is that the owner had to do this.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and he did the right thing by saying it. And I hope to God he's genuine. Okay, because when I heard that, I'm like, wait, this doesn't sound like that guy. But then now I didn't even know about Lindor. When he said that, I'm like, holy fuck. Okay, but again, we're never going to know the truth on this. Let's be honest.
See, the difference between Scherzer and Lindor said, look, they told me this is how we're going to build a sustainable winning organization. And I'm on board with that. That's what Lindor said.
Okay.
So he's understanding, okay, look, we might not be able to do what we just did every year.
101 wins.
But, spending-wise.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
no, 380's never happened.
Right, exactly.
It's unheard of.
And when you do that and then don't perform.
But again, that's on the players at the end of the day.
Well, fucking Steve Cohen said that again tonight.
Yeah. He's right, though.
They said, how much of this do you put on Buck? He said, not much. It's mostly on the players.
Not much. How do you feel about that? How much would you put on Buck? Be honest.
20%.
20%? That's not a lot.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, you can
then
you can only put so much.
Well,
but my thing is, how about on your fucking GM? Because last year at the trade deadline, that guy fucking choked.
What should he have got the trade they didn't get?
Dude,
I'm asking. I don't know.
No, I know. I'm not getting mad at you. I'm just, this isn't me going, how do you not know this? This is me just being
No, but
mad.
that's the face you made.
I know, but it wasn't about that.
Like, what are you kidding me?
So, at the trade deadline last year, they needed a DH, a real DH. Okay?
I remember you talking about that.
And
I remember that.
Your guy, JD Martinez, was available. Okay? Instead of that,
Still pissed at this.
they traded a young bullpen arm who they had control over and who was pitching well for them. Traded him to the Pirates for Daniel Vogelback. Okay? Mr. Vogie. Okay? Then
Mr. Van.
Then they traded away J.D. Davis, who was a bench guy, right? Who was a right-handed bat. He was one of the platoon options.
Yeah.
They traded him to the Giants along with 3 prospects and got back Darren Ruff. Darren Ruff.
Who's Darren Ruff?
Darren Ruff was a joke for the Mets. They ended up cutting him this year. He went back to the Giants, and then they ended up cutting him. Okay? The Giants flipped that guy for a big leaguer and 3 prospects. And the big leaguer we sent them, J.D. Davis, is now a fixture in their lineup, hitting in the high 280s, 290s, with probably 50 RBIs and double-digit home runs. Okay? And we don't have a DH this year, all right? He also went out and got a bullpen arm, Mikael Givens, who sucked, all right? And then in the offseason, he still didn't address those needs.
Still.
Okay, so could have signed J.D. Martinez for nothing. What did he sign with? What, did he get $15 million on a year?
We had the All-Star team, man.
I know.
I mean,
and we stood pat with Daniel Vogelback, and we're only paying him $1.5 million.
If the Red Sox, hey, there's that word, Red Sox. We haven't heard about them in 52 minutes. But anyway, it was his night, not mine. No, this is your night.
I'll let you talk.
No, this is your night. No, this is called brother to brother. He needed this. He had to get it out. He's probably got more to get out. You ever notice when you drink too much, sometimes you don't throw up once? You got to throw up 2 or 3 times. It's okay.
I knew go until you dry heave.
I knew this was coming.
Okay, this is a throwaway episode. Nobody wants to see this.
It's not a throwaway episode because honestly, here's the thing, and you said it yourself. I love that the owner spent the money, but spending money doesn't guarantee success. Lesson be learned, and we've seen it before. I think the first time this is happening. Let's be clear. But
some of it's luck, some of it's chemistry, some of it's.
I'm saying in baseball,
just plain performance.
There's a lot of things you can't control in baseball. Okay, so my thing is this: I wanted him to have this time because honestly, that if the Red Sox did that, yeah, I'd feel the same way. But in terms of the Red Sox, they're a game and a half out of they went 2-4 on a road trip against 2 very good teams. Well, 1 very good team and 1 good team. I mean, Seattle was in the playoffs last year. Yeah. So I mean, look, I'm not mad at that. They come home. The Blue Jays are in town. There's a big series in Boston this weekend. Boston needs to sweep them. They need to fucking sweep them.
Hold on, who were they playing?
They're playing the Blue Jays in Fenway. They need to sweep them, and they've had success. They've had success against Toronto. In fact, they've owned them. Boston, if there was ever a series the Red Sox needed to sweep, it is this one. Okay? Look, there's no shame in going 2-4 on that road trip against those 2 teams. There's no shame in it. Okay, especially the way they battled San Francisco. Those games were all one-run games. They could have gone either way. I'm not upset about that. And honestly, I thought 3-3 was the best case scenario, given who they were playing. They weren't sweeping. They'd be lucky if they split that. So 2-4 is not the end of the world. But they got to knock this team down. And they've had success against them this weekend. This is a very big series in Boston. Again, we talked about the trade deadline Sunday night. I'm not upset they didn't do anything, or if they didn't do anything, because honestly, what would you have to give up to get what you wanted to get? Was it worth it? The farm system's been good. This guy, Bloom, has done his job. Okay, he has gutted this team of bad paychecks, or rather, of bad contracts. Chris Sale's the only one remaining. Okay, and his is almost up. But the bottom line is, if he comes back and he looks anything like the guy he did in the last 6 starts before he got hurt, they might have something. But they've got to take these guys down this weekend in Boston. It is a big series. It is a big series. And again, the Red Sox are playing with house money. No one thought they were going to be here. One guy in Boston had them finishing 3rd.
That's why they stood pat.
Yeah, because honestly, there was nothing out there that was going to flip, that was going to really tilt.
Yeah,
there
wasn't going to make them catch the Orioles or the Rays.
No, it wasn't worth doing because you have to give up too much to get it, and it wasn't going to move the needle. So, look, they were smart not to do anything because the way their farm system is producing some talent, the pitching from the pitching up. Look at stand pat. You're playing with house money. No one thought you'd be competitive. You're a game and a half out of the wild card.
Yeah.
You're playing with house money.
This show's 2.5.
2.5. Well, after tonight it is because they lost. But 2.5 on August 2nd, nobody would have fucking believed that.
And going into a 3-game series
with
against
Toronto,
the person you're
if you sweep them, guess what? Okay. So here's the thing. This is a very big series, the biggest series. I didn't think they'd have a series like this all year that would matter like this. I didn't think they'd have a series like this all year that would matter this much. 2 out of 3 is the bare minimum. The bare minimum. They need to sweep these motherfuckers. And they're capable because they've had success against
2 out of 3 leaves you a game and a half back.
Yep. But they got to sweep them. If they sweep them, everything changes. So, to me, and again, Alex Cora, manager, I've been saying that for months. This guy, not months, but about a month. He's literally, given what he's done with this group, God bless him. So, there's going to be a big series. We'll see what happens. We will get the pitching matchups for you tomorrow or the Sunday night.
It's all TBD right now. Yeah. I was looking at it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I looked at it. It was all TBD. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't even tell you the pitching matchups because I don't know what they are. Okay?
I know, it's been interesting to look at, but I think with trades and everything, they probably don't have a lot of shit.
Well, Pavetta went last night, or tonight rather. No, yeah, last night. I don't know who pitched today. Crawford pitched today. Crawford pitched today. Bello went.
Paxton's going to pitch Friday.
Yeah. And he's been good.
He's been good.
He's been good. So, look, they've got to sweep these guys.
Oh, dude. And then, look, I think 2 out of 3.
I said 2 out of 3 is realistic. They should win 2 out of 3.
But look.
But they need to sweep.
But if they go 2 out of 3, then they got 4 with Kansas City, 3 with Detroit, 3 with the Nationals, 3 with the Yankees.
The door
is a stretch to kick it down.
The door is open. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give you – the door's open. See what happens. I didn't think the door would be open. I thought the door would be closed, double bolted, and there'd be an ADT alarm system on it. There's no way in.
Kick it down.
The fact the door is open on August the 2nd is a fucking miracle, okay? But they are here. So we'll see what happens.
And Toronto, I tell you, when y'all are doing your little stretch, okay, of Kansas City, Detroit, who do we say? Kansas City, Detroit,
the Nationals,
the Nats,
and the Yankees.
Yeah. Toronto goes to Cleveland.
Ooh.
Home with the Cubs.
Ooh.
2 with Philly.
Ooh.
3 with Cincinnati.
Dang.
Then they go to Baltimore.
Dang.
Yeah. So
the door is open.
There is.
The window ain't open. The door is open. Okay? So we'll see what they do this weekend. We're going to take a break, come back. Segment 2, NFL training camp update. We're going to talk Giants, Patriots, Nuggets to drop, fingers to point, optimism, pessimism. It's all on the table. Bill Belichick, you are on the clock, motherfucker. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm going to drop a nugget on you guys on segment 2. The redoubtable one, the high question. We will see you on the other side. Hey, Yoda, Betty, and Joe Boo on the clock. And it is Wet My Whistle Wednesday. So if you got one, crack it. See you soon.